One is that most people think that their solution is my problem, and it often isn't. Um, the second is the belief that people are actually looking for point by point solutions. Increasingly companies are overwhelmed with all the choices, and they want as far as possible solutions that are as comprehensive and integrated as possible. And I think the third, if I would add a third point besides the first two, is that whether marketers have enough time to pay attention to all these new developments. What tends to basically happen is my basic belief has been for quite some time that mobile is not really going to be a huge advertising medium. It is going to be a huge marketing medium. And the difference basically being that what we want are utilities and services, things that make our life easier and more convenient. And if I know where someone is and who they are and whom they're with, can't I do something much more interesting than an ad? I think that in the ideal world, what you want to try to do is change people's mindset, because changing people's mindset is actually best for a company's culture. It's easier to change the people. Okay. So the way I get, um, nourishment with regard to where the arts are going is I tend to wake up every morning when I'm either on the East or the Midwest, which are very early, around 4:30. And I tend to spend the first hour uh, reading. But what I don't read is email. I don't read other things. I either go online and I look at art-oriented sites. Like right now, I'm looking at things like Artsy, which is sort of a new art site, which is trying to be sort of the Pandora of art. Uh, or I will basically, read anything like literature. So at any given time, like right now, I'm rereading Infinite Jest, from David Foster Wallace, and I'm looking at a book called A Meaningful Life by L.L. Davies. So what tends to basically happen is I try to have literature, poetry, looking at arts, going to museums as one particular thing, and then I love the movies. Uh, and while I go to the big movies at the movie theaters, my Netflix account is sort of stacked with what would be called art movies. Um, so, my last three movies have been Arbitrage, which is not an art movie, The Master, which is an art movie, and then something that's in between, that's really an espionage sort of movie, which is sort of the Ben Affleck movie Argo. And I've seen those three in the last 8 days. I've read 2 books in the last 8 days. I can tell you about 3 new websites. Plus, I've flown around the world. So those are ways that I keep up.